Yeah, well, that's one very nice.
I would rather think than it, because that's where our carrot. All the kids are, that's where our carrot is very married.
I don't
Sherry
speak
was
Spanish, so I think
she lived living in Hawaii. Well, what was
yeah,
It was a minor at St. Jude. Oh, the Aurora.
My goodness. Good morning. Good.
it takes me 7 minutes, 11 minutes to get there. They're faster if they're not.
Because you live
I only live about a mile.
And I grew the parking.
I usually, when I run, okay, I usually run past 2 and go on. I was running for a while, but all of a sudden it's kind of.
I got a parking spot right there. So we were really. I hope so. I'm too bad. I know. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I was hoping it wasn't more. That's her jacket this today. You just want to buy the jacket. What? That's right. I know. That's the other way. I would really like to be able to go forward. And I'm staying still. But anyway, so it will happen. It was very nice to be out. Oh, yeah. Oh. She was having trouble with that inside button, which I didn't realize. Okay. Well, they got the right idea over there. They're warming it up in the microwave.
No, that's good.
When you need coffee, you need coffee. She has cataracts? Oh. Is it hot? It was too hot. I think it's not hot.
I can tolerate it.
It's unbelievable that people that our homes are in Waukesha County, and we look at all the blessings that all of us have, and to know that there are people who don't have anything. The families that come to us are married singles, and I think the common thread there is that all of them are really concerned about their children and what they can provide for their children, and what they.
No, I'd like to know. I used to see Harriet Peterson ever so often, but I don't see her anymore.
So what's your order? Do you want the video?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is not a whole spare beat.
Right. Okay. Sticky.
What's your order?
Yeah, my little speech first, so my people that I know are like totally, different from the high school.
She worked there 13 years, yeah.
Right.
Several different
Right.
offices.
You got to know Ron Roy?
Something exciting about certain ones I come right away.
Their parents were there too.
They retired there. Yeah.
That's right.
The boys were gone when we came in.
Okay, good morning. So as we said last week, we're finishing up the study today. And last week we had Carol Allen speaking for us, a little bit about some of the ministry we had within our church. And so the idea again was there are lots and lots of ways to serve. Some of them are behind the scenes. In fact, I do have to leave for a little bit to go set up the altar guild for the next service. So hopefully I can time that correctly. And then there are also lots of things going on, tons of things going on at Reach Our Community. So we wanted to bring in Mary Higginbottom, who has been working very, very, very hard with a couple of missions that we have.
Thank you. First of all, I have allergy sinuses, so I sound a little clogged, that's why. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to talk about Family Promise first. Family Promise of Waukesha County. It's a program that helps families with children to find a home again, to get back on their feet. People that have been struggling, that got into a lot of debt, and they don't have a place to live anymore. Homelessness in Waukesha County is not someone living under a bridge.
They're just about to be left beside.
Finding a place, under, in the corner of the bank entry building when no one's there, that type of thing. It's someone that's staying at Grandpa's house for a month, and then it's just not working anymore. Then they go to Cousin Sue's house for 2 weeks. That's not going to work out either with their family too. They try to help, but they can't, and sometimes they do live in their cars. And Family Promise is there to help them figure out how to get into their own place again. It's really quite incredible program. It is a national program. It started, I think, back in the 70s. Sorry, I don't have those exact stats, but we started here in Waukesha County. First of all, it was Family Promise of Western Waukesha County. City of Waukesha was not included. So it's, up to Menominee Falls, down to Muskego, and everything to the county line of Jefferson and Waukesha County. Oconomowoc had the highest homelessness in that area. And these are the people with families, with kids. It isn't a program set up for individuals. So, and I don't know if you saw this article, it was an Enterprise a couple weeks ago. We have it up on the bulletin over there. It talks about it. The program started we started meeting in 2013. The first families we were able to help was November of 2014. People spend the night in a church for 1 week straight. So there's 13 host churches and 13 plus support churches. We are a support church to Our Savior's Lutheran Church. So the families stay there 4 times a year for 1 week straight. This is the calendar schedule for this coming year. I'll have that up over there. Our next week to help is January 6th through the 12th. Numerous ways to help. Make a meal. You have to be, and that is the only thing that you can do that you have to get the 1 hour training for. The other time when you're interacting with people, you've got to learn what to be able to say and what not to say. You're not there to give them that extra $20 they need, that type of thing, but just how to help them and make them feel safe and secure. But you can serve dinner. You can spend it 2 hours from 7 to 9, play games with the kids, and then they need overnight people to stay. There's always a male and a female spending the night. I found this on from the president of Family Promise in Western Waukesha County. We help homeless families with children regain and retain their independence. It's not an emergency shelter. We keep families together and help them get back on their feet. We help them get jobs and help them develop plans for sustainability. We provide community support to get them back into, can't read my writing, into affordable housing. We support them through our alumni program as they live in their homes. So once they've graduated, they aren't just, okay, you're on your own now, you can do it. No, they meet with them every month to 2 months. Where's my other sheet? There it is. So, since it started in November of 2014, they have admitted 79 families. That's 235 people. That's 10,972 overnight stays. Same number of dinners, 9,875 breakfasts, 72 families have been discharged through the program. The other 7 dropped out for whatever reasons. There are 37 families that were placed in stable housing, which is a 52% success rate. Families discharged with stable income were 43. That's a 60% success rate. The average stay in the program is 54 days, so about 2 full months. And they're going from one church one week to another church. The kids are taken to the schools in the morning. The adults, if they don't have a job, they go to the day center in Wales, where they are teaching them how to get out of debt, how to get job skills, and all that. We can run the video, I think that'll explain it.
It's unbelievable that people that are homeless are in Waukesha County. When you look at all the blessings that all of us have, and to know that there are people who don't have anything. The families that come to us are married couples, singles, and I think the common thread there is that all of them are really concerned about their children and what they can provide for their children and what they haven't been able to provide for their children.
The person that I married, my husband, my ex-husband now, he was physically abusive to me, my kids, and so we were going through a divorce. Then I was staying at my grandfather's house. It wasn't working out, and I all of a sudden didn't have a place to live. I was trying to raise 3 kids and a baby on the way, and then try to maintain work and trying to do everything on my own.
I moved from Florida. I was there for 5 months with my mom for help. She was in a very abusive relationship, wasn't healthy for my kids. I was supposed to come up here and move with my son's grandma, and we get up here and she told us we are no longer welcome. I was driving around in my car, nowhere to go.
We had a problem with our landlord concerning the heat over the winter, and we went into court. We signed a stipulation. We paid the first installment. They gave us a receipt, and when we called to make arrangements for them to come and do the heat, they decided they weren't going to. We got a call from them the night before saying that the sheriff was going to be there to lock us out the next day, and I didn't know what we were going to do. So we were living in a hotel. That was stressful. I was going out to work every day, making the money to be able to pay for the hotel, but to pay for a hotel and food every day, the resources were going fast. And God just blessed us, and we were able to find Family Promise and gave us another alternative.
Family Promise is a hospitality program for homeless families with children. We use churches as a place for them to spend their nights and to feed them. And then we bring them back to a day center where we have a case manager who works with the families from day one, trying to get them out of the program and back into life. The church's involvement with this program is what really makes it unique and special. We have over 30 churches that both provide the actual rooms for the people to stay at, and then all the volunteers that work with the families in terms of bringing meals, doing the setup and the tear down. And we have 2 people who's every night of the year, 365 days a year, who are actually sleeping over in the church to watch over our guests. So it's a real groundswell of volunteerism at a grassroots level that is unique compared to a lot of other programs out there.
The advantage to having an organization like Family Promise and getting congregations and people involved is that they get to see and live their faith, they get to see and live their desire to be helpful and to help people build better lives for themselves.
We need about 45 to 50 volunteers a week. We bring a hot meal and we feed them for dinner, and that's always a nice time, a sharing time at the dinner table. Sometimes the families will go to their room for a little quiet time to be with their children or to reflect on the day, what they have done, maybe what they need to do the next day. Then in the evening, when the two people for fellowship time come, sometimes we just sit here and there isn't anything to do because the families are in their rooms. Or sometimes the guests will be around the table and just telling us their story. Maybe they need an ear to listen to them. And we do our best to do what we can to help them. It's very rewarding for us, and hopefully the guests get something out of that as well.
When the guests first come to me for an initial interview, they are really trying to find their place in this world, and they feel lost and they don't know how to crawl back out of where they're at. They're coming to me stressed out, anxious, depressed, and they, first and foremost, are worried about their children.
Yeah, it was really scary not having a place to go, not knowing where to turn. I had called other places and they were full. There was going on waiting lists, not having a place to turn.
They're really young. I was very nervous to do the bouncing around new church every week, and that's hard for kids, not the structure.
I've heard bad things about other shelters too, about being there with your kids, and then sometimes it can be a dangerous situation. So I was very nervous about that as well.
Coming to Family Promise was, I didn't know what to expect, because when you think of a shelter, you think of a big room with a lot of people, and you may even think of like some of the people being transient and stuff like that, which for me is not a big deal, but having my children, it was kind of going to be a more traumatic experience. So when we came and we got a chance to see how the program was and everything, right away I was relieved immediately. From day one, we came in, we met everyone, and the first night at the church, everyone was welcoming, and it took a little bit of the embarrassment. The way that we were treated. So, really nice. And I appreciate it because the intake process was really easy. They just sat us down and talked to us. They told us what resources they were going to have available to us to help us get back self-sufficient. We went out to the church. Everyone was extremely nice, and they just made you feel welcome from the very beginning. And so that was really nice.
I don't think I know what I would do if I didn't have Family Promise. I would probably be sleeping in my car, and not sure where to turn, because the places that I thought I could get into, I couldn't. So,
well, if we can put a smile on somebody's face, or just let them know that we care, then the week is worth it.
Okay, watch that go. I've got it. I know, can you hear me well enough, or do I need this? Any questions on any of this, or any concerns, or does it make sense how this works?
So how do you sign up for a meal?
For a meal, you can go on the website, there's a link, there's something in the bulletin this week about it, or you just tell me and I'll sign you up. What I have been doing the last couple of months to try to get people involved was that I signed up and then I put in the bulletin, we need this food, we need this food, we need this. So whatever's easier for you, just yes.
So the menus are planned?
Yes. So, Our Saviors, which, oh my gosh, Our Saviors is like the perfect place to do this. Because we had talked about being a host church originally back in 2013, but it's just, we don't have the right space. And of course, the school, but still, it's, Our Saviors has this lower level that each family gets their own individual room. Where in some of the churches, they put dividers up. You know, like those office dividers type things. And then they have their cots there. So they each have their own section. But in Our Saviors, each family has their own room, which is really nice. Yeah.
Can I just say, I kind of fell off because of actually a computer glitch that came up, and then I just didn't follow through. But I did volunteer over there, and it's amazing. And like I said, their lower unit is like, because they're set up with their Sunday school rooms, that's how they give individual rooms to these families. So it's like if you could take a part of our classroom and set it up, you know, obviously we can't, but so they get individual rooms. Everything is so organized. I've helped with the setup on the mornings, and I've also helped with the pack up, because the families come in Sunday morning and then they stay till the next Sunday. So it's a cycle, but you put the cots in the rooms and they get lights and they get, you know, it just to try to make it look a little bit like a little area for them. I've helped with the meals, and again, like Mary said, when you go in and log on, every day of the week they have what they've got planned for the dinner meal. And then it's set up, you know, like, or maybe you just need for the kids for their lunches, because the kids pack their lunches the night before. Luncheon meat, bread, fruit, and they've got refrigerators. They've got a big kitchen area like ours, so they have area to put that. And I've helped with meals, so they've got tables like this in a big room where the families eat. And I know when the people come in summer, they love being by the lake. So, but there's also very strict rules, like the woman that was on there that was abused. They've got locked doors so that there's security for the families, and obviously everything is confidential. We don't share their stories or anything, and I was just really impressed. And plus you get to meet people from another congregation, because usually the lead person for me would always be somebody from Our Saviors, which I was grateful for, because to find all the stuff in the kitchen, but it was just, it's nice. I didn't do the overnights, but
yeah, I haven't done the overnight yet either.
Yeah, so
I'll try to check in if I can make that work. But it just really is incredible the way it does. It flows so nice, and they have set rules. I mean, you know, there's always someone that's gonna, well, I know the door's locked at 10 o'clock, but I just have to meet a friend. Well, no, it's not allowed. So it's very set up. It isn't like you're just gonna go in there and go, okay, what do I do now? They'll be there to help you.
And they always have a phone available, so that if you need to call somebody from Family Promise, I mean, I haven't heard of
yeah,
any
Aaron,
of
the
that
case
happen,
manager,
but it's very
David Tenick, he was here one time to talk about a year and a half ago or something, I think, during Bible study. So.
And if you help with the dinner, I mean, it's only a couple hours. Somebody else makes it, or if you make it and serve it, but it's all, you know, it's all structured. And then, what is it, like 6 to 9 or something for the?
Yeah, they want the food there by 5, so that's served from like 6 to 7, and then from 7 to 9 is fellowship time, if the families want to do it. Sometimes, because of Our Saviors especially, that's the only place I've been, so that's all I know.
And then everybody's in their room. Like
right, the families can go in their room and have their family time, or if maybe one parent is working late, sometimes the kids want to be out with other host people that are there. So it just depends. Like the one woman said,
they also said you're not there to babysit their kids.
Yeah, you're not here. Yeah, that's the other thing. You're not here to babysit or to reprimand them in any way whatsoever.
But you can play with them. They've got one room that they've got. I don't think they had a football table or something, but and they got movies that. I mean, it's really.
To have this for these families is just incredible. It's amazing what has happened with this program. So. Other things on their website also is things that they always need, like they need quick trip gas cars, because Family Promise has the van that takes the families to all the different places, and it's all volunteer drivers. So we need gas cars for that, and they need laundry detergent to wash their bedding and all that type of thing, and their clothes, and they do that at the day center in Wales. So there's all those types of little things that they need.
That's where they shower in the mornings too, because obviously there's not showers set up over at the school, but I mean
Yeah, so like if we were hosting here, they could use our showers, but our Saviors doesn't have that, most churches don't. So, okay. Anything else? I can go on where it's covered, or if you think of something, ask me later.
Come back Christmas bags.
Yes. So we got these great little handouts for Lord's Cover. It is Amy.
Well, I did
Bar. Made for me, so that's fantastic. So it just has a little synopsis of what Lord's Covered is all about. So you can share this with people. I have a whole bunch. I'll put some more over by the bulletin board. Lord's Covered, food pantry and meal. I think most of you know about it, but I believe Lindquist and a few others started it back in the 70s to help some of the families here in our church, and through the years it's just expanded to the community. We do the food pantry handout the first and third Monday of every month. When the first falls on a holiday, like 4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial Day, we usually, well, Labor Day, whatever. Anyways, when it falls on a holiday, then we change it to the following Saturday, the next Saturday. Because we don't want to not be able to help people. The third Monday, we also serve a meal, and a lot of the volunteers are here that do that, which is fantastic. The first Monday is usually our lower attended pantry, so we have anywhere from, depending on the time of the year, 20 to 45 people, family units come in. Sometimes they're singles, sometimes they are we have a family of 7 that come. On the third Monday, we usually have the most because they get the free meal too, so we're serving easily 40 to 75 people. I'm talking about the bags, food bags. The meals, we're averaging about 100 meals each time. Thanksgiving and Christmas is always so much more because we also do the Thanksgiving Christmas food bag handout.
How many turkeys did you roast this year?
Me and my girlfriends, we cooked 15 of them.
That's awesome.
We probably needed 13, but I cannot run out of food. That freaks me out. So, always gotta have more. And then we're gonna use that into a nice little casserole from January's meal. Food never goes to waste if it can't. I know we have an abundance of bakery items. I'm working on it. I'm working with Zonia Food Pantry to try to see how we can do this. We get Quick Trip items donated because of our affiliation with Feeding America. So we pick up from 5 different area Quick Trips. 2 in Wales on Highway 83, one by Shorehaven, the one by Piggly Wiggly, and the Oconomowoc Parkway one by Stein's Garden Center. The other Oconomowoc Parkway is going to a different church in Delsman, I think it is. So we pick up twice a week. We get anything they have extra of. Milk, meat, a lot of the bakery, snack items, and all that goes into our pantry food bag, or the people get to choose what they want to take on those nights. The Feeding America affiliation has been a huge blessing. Through them, we get I've been getting grants from the Lutheran Foundation, and we just got one letter dated October 30th. We just got $2,734 in our one account. The one account is for the food pantry, and we will be got another $200 for our meal account that we have Feeding America. In March of 2019, we will be getting an additional $2,712. So through them, I buy a lot of the canned goods, soup, mac and cheese, green beans, corn, that type of stuff. We get it at a much cheaper price, sometimes 19 cents a pound. Also through Feeding America, we are affiliated with Our Savior's Lutheran Church again, that we do the mobile food pantry once a month. That's on the 3rd Friday. We have some volunteers that do that, Steinbergs and many others. They are bringing a truck with 13,000 pounds of food on it. The average number of families coming are 235 for the past year. So they're coming from all over. One thing about that mobile food pantry and about Lord's Covered, we don't require them to have to be in a certain area. Like the Oconomowoc Food Pantry requires people to be in the Oconomowoc School District. Or like if you live in Exonia, if you live, well, in the school district, we have a family that comes from Oconomowoc. If they have a need, God has blessed us with the opportunity and the means to help them, we're going to help them. As you saw the gentleman on there, that he was embarrassed, and many of them are. Some of them are. I have had quite a few conversations over the years with people that are like, I don't know what I would do. I just lost my job, and I got 3 kids at home, and I don't know how to do this. So you guys being here saved us. And when I'm back on my feet, I'll come back and help or donate, and many of them have. So it's incredible. But the little bit that we do, in a way, I mean, it's a big thing, but in a way you think it's just food. Take it, but it's huge for a lot of people's lives. You know, we've got the seniors that come, those people, a family of 5 that one of the parents is sick or injured, can't work right now, it helps them. The person that now has that $250 medication they have to take, kind of messes up the budget. We're here to help them in that way. Let's see, what else can I show you? There's lots of opportunities. There's food to pick up. There's toiletries to pick up. We're one of the few food pantries in the area that gives toiletries out. Paper towel, dish soap, hand soap.
How would people then, if they want to help some way, who should they contact?
Contact the Ichabod. My name's usually in there, but please call me anytime with any questions or any concerns, anything that you have. The Lord's Cupboard is not in the church budget, it's all donations. The donations that we have gotten God has constantly amazes me, Besides those food grants that we got through Feeding America from the Lutheran Foundation, we usually get a few $100s each year from Feeding America themselves. Quick Trip usually donates easily $2,000 to $5,000 into our Feeding America account. The Lucille and Clifford Wenther Family Fund has donated in the past few years, quite often. The Oconomowoc Area Foundation, I just received a grant from them for $4,000 to help redo the electrical in our fellowship hall. Our Savior's Church has donated quite a few $1,000s to us also, I think because of our affiliation with them, with the Mobile Food Pantry and Family Promise. So that's been a huge blessing. Shorehaven gave us a huge donation in the past year. Ewald, Cars, whatever, I don't know the right word I'm looking for. I just got a call last week that they're going to be giving us a wonderful check very soon. So it's wonderful how God helps us reach out to others and how others want to help. Unfortunately, there is need. I really wish we didn't have to do this. I really wish we didn't have Lord's Cupboard. But I thank God we do. So ways to help is show up on Monday night to help hand out the food bags. I'm usually just there on the 3rd, so I can help you, show you what to do. Help with the meal. I pick up items from Menards because Menards has some really good deals sometimes, especially when they have the 11% off. So I use the 11% off the next time I buy. Because sometimes their shampoo is 75 cents for $1.20. Because it's not my money, it's the donation, so I have to be a good steward of the money. I pick up eggs from the Waukesha Food Pantry once a month because they help the smaller pantries get a better deal on eggs. So there's different places to go. It doesn't have to be on a Monday night, it can be behind the scenes. It all helps. Yes, Tom?
Yes. How many of the congregations or churches in the Oconomowoc area have food pantries? Is there some type of communication among them? I think you mentioned Our Savior's doesn't, so they help support this one.
Right.
Is there a communication network too?
Through Waukesha Food Pantry is connected with a lot of the area food pantries. There isn't another food pantry in Oconomowoc exactly, but there's like the Exonia Food Pantry, there's one in Ashapin, I want to say St. Catherine's. There's one in Dousman, one in Wales, one in Delafield. So besides the Oconomowoc Food Pantry, it's us. And we're usually all open different nights and different days, which is a good thing for the families. And do some of them probably go into multiple ones, and it's the need. And if someone thinks they're being taken advantage of, that's God to judge, not me. So I think I got everything. Oh, but besides Lord's covered the food pantry and the meal and the mobile food pantry, we also do the holiday food bags. So Thanksgiving, we gave away 150 food bags to the seniors and the families. Christmas will be about the same. We have been doing like 200, 225 last year, but I guess one of the senior communities decided not to because they were getting help from another church, so they didn't want to take advantage, which is nice. So we're going to be packing those food bags on, what Saturday? Be the 15th. Saturday the 15th at 9 in the morning to pack the Christmas food bags. Right here. It'll probably take half an hour, 45 minutes. Because Jamie's very organized.
Also, with the Feeding America, the food that's left over after everybody's gone through, it comes here.
Yes.
And that is used either to hand out, whatever.
In the meal, whatever we can. So that's really cool too.
Right.
And
they have a prayer before they go through the line. So it's a good thing. It's a very good thing too.
And we're always putting our flyer in the bags that talk about our church services and how to hear us on the radio. We put in the devotional books that when you've done reading, we put them in the bags. At the holiday food bags, we always get those little tracts. So we get talk about what's important to them too.
So thank you for coming in. We appreciate that.
Is that needs list? Mary, is that needs list still up to date of the foods most needed to donate?
That stuff over that little board, whiteboard board. I know. I keep thinking I gotta change that, but it really is what we need.
Well, that's what I was just wondering.
Yeah.
It's still that.
Yeah. What I really need for the Christmas food bags are green beans.
Green beans.
Because right now, Feeding America doesn't have it on their list to buy, so I'm like, okay.
Just canned green beans.
Yes. And just another thing besides Quick Trip, that's a wonderful support, so please support them, is the Pick and Save Pabst Farms. They do the like a little pantry bag you buy for $5 or $10, usually in October. And then they do Stuff the Squad in August, I think it is. So police car goes over there and people buy usually those bags too and some other stuff. And Stuff the Squad, and that all comes over here. And they give us a discount for our turkeys and hams for the holiday food bags. And if anyone else has other connections or anyone else I should be talking to about grants or donations or support, let me know. Area businesses.
Very informative.
So, again, this will be this is our wrap-up session here. So, we were looking at last week and this week ways, now that we've talked about how to serve, who to serve, why to serve, all that sort of thing, now we're giving concrete examples of service. And so we talked about one-on-one service with student ministry. We talked about coming here to the church and helping those people in our community through the Lord's Covered. We've talked about going outside the church and helping people in the greater area through Family Promise. Now we're going to get a little bit farther afield, and we're going to go out of the country. And this is short-term mission opportunities. So through most ministries is the one that we went through. They kind of organize short-term mission opportunities. Ours was just over a week. Maybe not for everybody, but maybe you'll get inspired.
So I know that some of you have already seen the slideshow. When we first did this in the fall, when we came back from the trip, and then some of you were, if you were in, did I do it for Ladies Aid? Ladies Aid asked me to do it as well. So we're going to just kind of go quickly around this first part and get to the ahas of the, can you see me, Mary? Sorry.
They're in a different order this time, so.
Yeah, so if you don't know where Dominican Republic is, there shares an island with Haiti, and there's, the U.S. preparing was really a big part of it. So the study that we just did with you, we took some of the materials from the Most Ministries guidelines. So getting to know the people, we teamed up with Shepherd of the Hills in Pewaukee. And so there were only 8 of us plus another, like a Most Ministries guide, so 9 of us total. So 4 from Shepherd of the Hills, Kurt and I, and our 2 children, Rachel and Nathan. So we, bonded over food, did some devotions, packed lots and lots of things. Some of the stuff came from St. Paul's, some of it came from my school. I teach at Kettle Moraine Middle School. Some of it came from Amy, this lady Amy, and her teaching. And so we gathered lots and lots of things from different corners. There's a picture of both of the congregations, Shepherd of the Hills and St. Paul's, very supportive in our mission time. And
thank you.
We appreciate it. And we got that number board and we were just astounded by it. I mean, we couldn't, when you have 1 person going, you can sort of fund that, but when you have a family of 4 going, that was a little scary to try to say, okay, are we going to be able to afford this? And so with the number, we had a big number board, and we had some donations from that, and we appreciate all of the prayers and the funding to make it happen. And I feel like we gained more than, you say we're going to go help people, but I feel like we gained more than, and I think that's true from a lot of people that do mission trips, that you come back with just so much learning. There we are at the airport, getting ready to go. Flying over the beautiful land, almost into the Dominican here. Unpacking, getting onto this vehicle. That was our vehicle for the week. Just getting everything organized. And this guy here, Bill Lohmeyer, you might hear his name once in a while if they talk about Dominican Republic, but he's like the business side of things. He's like an organizer. I know he's not the business manager, but he
isn't there anymore.
Oh, he's gone.
He rotated out.
That's right. Well, he was when we were there. Very, very involved. Very thin because he's working all the time. Getting to the location was interesting. So part of the whole experience is the culture shock. And I have traveled several times out of the country because I'm a Spanish teacher. I lived in Spain, or a former Spanish teacher, and I love the culture. So I kind of talked about that already. But I was kind of thinking, what are our kids gonna think? And so just the roads, the whole experience, getting up the hill here. We actually had to get out and walk at some point because we couldn't, all the luggage. We were like, we're going to make it up the steep hill. It was kind of interesting.
Literally, it wouldn't go up the hill to this. We were staying at the seminary building, which is up halfway up this mountain, and our driver Rowdy gave it a good try. He gave everything it had, and it's like, okay, everybody out, because we had so much stuff that we brought along, to leave there, and that plus us was just a little bit too much for them.
The energetic Nathan here, don't let him fool you. He's just going to race right past us. So, and actually, the locals were using this hill as exercise. That the baseball players, that was their morning workout. They would run up the hill, up and down. So I mean, the roads were not quite like we have here. I mean, we might have some areas like that, but there's our driver Rowdy. And there's the seminary. So when we got to stay there, it was not in great shape. So part of our work actually was to get it ready for students who were coming. We didn't know we were going to be doing that, but that's what we did. There were bees all over the place, like wasps, ants. The water wasn't working. We would trickle showers. There wasn't hot water.
Flexibility is if you're not flexible, then perhaps that's God telling you there's something else that you can do as a method of service. But if you are, this is awesome.
So just a couple pictures of us outside the seminary. It's a beautiful, it's up in the hill. Way up, you'll see some of those. See, there's our view looking down, knowing that we came all the way from there. It's just gorgeous. A great place, I guess, for the students to just study and reflect and be. So there's a baseball field from the top of the hill. And then
for you Brewers fans, if you remember, I don't think he's on the team anymore, but Jonathan VR, this is the area that he is from. So you'll see Roger later on wearing a VR jersey. He actually got that down there because he's a local hero. He made it to America and made it in the big leagues.
So part of the time they would supply us with some food for breakfast. They being Bill, Danelle, some of the missionaries would take care of us and at least give us some things to make our own food with. our meals. And then sometimes the missionaries would host meals, and that was one of the best things. And we'll talk just a little bit about that in a little bit. But just kind of organizing, getting set, like what are our duties. The shower here is kind of interesting. Like, there's no shower curtain.
There didn't need to be a shower curtain, because really the reason you need shower curtain is because the water comes down and bounces off you and goes out. That requires water pressure, and this was more like a water drip, which was okay because the heater wasn't working. It was really cold.
We just went back. Yeah, that was okay. So, you know, we're not trying to talk about all the negatives of it, but it's like you have to be flexible in your thinking. And, you know, the first thing we put our food down on the counter, and pretty soon we're looking and there's ants everywhere. Ants in the refrigerator, ants crawling on the counter. So we had to take care of the ant problem. And, you know, Danelle, the main missionary that took care of us, she was astounded. Oh my gosh, you know, and so there was, at least it was good. I think it was good. It helped us get it ready for the students coming. So all the little problems that were there, we were kind of like the trial. They hadn't been used for a while apparently, and it was kind of dirty, and so that was okay. So we made it work. The bottles of water, you know, just getting used to not drinking out of the faucets. You know, what is that, a 5-gallon thing? How much did they say that cost? Like, we were kind of like, oh, we want to conserve the water. It was like
they kept saying, be hydrated, stay hydrated, stay hydrated. So, okay, we'll stay hydrated. And then we started looking and going, man, we're burning through these at a pretty remarkable clip, and that's got to be costing somebody a lot of money. Yeah, it costs like 40 cents or something like that. So yeah, if there was a reasonable way to get that back to the States from here, you could do okay.
So just some of the meals when we were working then at the school, which you'll see in just a little bit, that was, well, one day we saw the chickens running around, and then the next day this is what we had. So chickens in the backyard, and it was really good. Chicken no more.
This ties into with what we were talking a couple weeks ago. You know, we're down there to serve them, right? And you know, they can use all the help they can get. They don't have a lot of money down there. They need funds to keep the place going and all this. And so we're there to help out. We're there to serve, right? And at the school or at the home, they're feeding us lunch. You know, you sort of go, wait a second, no. We came here for you, not you don't serve us, right? But that's what we talked about. Sometimes it is a service to let others serve you, and you know, you are certainly blessed by serving, but you are also blessed by allowing others to serve you.
And it was nice to give them like, ooh, this is a delicious meal, and we would want the same too. You make a meal for somebody, and if somebody says to you how delicious it makes you feel good. The plantains were really good, so something that we wouldn't necessarily have here, and kind of like a little salami type fried meat and eggs. So there was a picture of our dorm room that we stayed in. This is the ladies' one, so we were just trying to unpack and get organized, and at least we had a fan in there too. So there was electricity for us because it was really hot. And it's really a pretty view. Look at outside this patio. Thought that was great. I look like I'm a ghost here, but that's actually the coffee. Gotta have your coffee. Nathan found some time for a little bit of technology, a little downtime. So this is the, what do you call that? The Mercy Center. It has a church. It has part of the seminary buildings. And there's actually a playground. It's a school. And then right here is where the group home is. And so
the blue part, they just added, it used to be a 2-story building, and like a year or so before we got there, the blue part on the top, they added that part. So.
And Kurt had brought his ukulele along so that some of the music we could sing wherever we went, which we used it quite a bit with our own team for devotions. We used it when we went to some of the other homes and areas.
On the left there, they told us ahead of time, so you'll be living up above a little bit, you'll go down the driveway, and then you'll take the stairs down to the group home. Okay, so on the left there, that's when they said stairs, they were referring to that.
So here we are coming in the back way to work. So we would walk down this hill every day, we're bringing our paint cans, and you can see where we came from. There's the seminary up there. so we kind of locked down here behind. So this is where we spend a lot of our time at the group home. There's a picture of where we came from the backyard. And these are the faces of the kids, young adults, they're not really kids, that we spent time with. So Randy, you'll see Randy, there's his face for once, but he's usually like this. Doesn't want his picture taken. And Moises, and this is Junior, his nickname Junior, and Ramona always has something in her mouth. So Ramona's a character for sure. She's got on the new shoes we brought her. And the phone, she's got a new phone, it's a little cell phone toy that she loves. So, why am I blanking? Francis, and it's Stephanie. So Stephanie needs a wheelchair. So those are the 6 young adults that were in this group home. And so, bringing some supplies to the school. And then I'm going to go zipping through here because these are some of the jobs we did. Taking apart these metal frames to paint, that was one of your things. Ramona wanted to help. And then Nathan's out there sanding them. We're going to get ready to paint them.
So one of the things is the reason this group home is here, and we'll talk a little bit more later about very little bit, very shortly. But the whole culture toward people with disabilities is not good at all. And that's just, I mean, that's the culture down there. I mean, they're basically not people. If you're disabled like this, you're basically not people. Some don't even have names and so forth. And so the government does have state homes that they're housed in, and those are also not good. And so the Lutheran Church was down there and said, look, we can do better than that. And so after quite a bit of discussion and negotiations and so forth, the government allowed us to take 6, cherry-picked certainly, but allowed us to take 6 individuals from the group homes, establish our own group home, okay, and say, look, we can do better. This is how we're going to do it. This is what we're going to do for these people. This is how we're going to help them, to grow and develop as individuals and so forth. So part of that then is, since the government's allowed us to do that, the government's also going to inspect us, just to see how it's going, right? And so that was, that's why we're doing this with the beds. They're kind of nasty and rusty and stuff, but it's under the mattresses and it's under the sheets. So really, the government's going to inspect it, and we want to make sure that everything is going to be, that we don't miss anything on our government inspections. So we sanded everything down and we repainted it so that it all is ready for the next inspection.
And along the lines with that, this is really important, that when we went into the government-run orphanages, everyone was in like their uniform, their same looking outfit, everything looked orderly, the beds were all lined up, the kids looked sad. It made me cry. I just went over and I just started bawling on his shoulder to see these kids, just all lined up. And then to see these kids, they're able to go around in the neighborhood, and it's their place. It was just amazing.
So we did get a lot of help from the residents when we wanted to get some of this done. And again, help is sort of like stairs. It may not mean what you think that it means. It slows down just a touch. But this main room here is in the front of the building, and honestly, I don't remember if they told us what they used it for. But one of our other jobs was to repaint that room because they're turning it into like a resale shop. So yeah, they've done that now. The point is twofold. One, it is to raise some money to help the home be more self-sustaining, and also it is to give the residents, basically a job. And all 6 of them have things that they can do to help, whether it's straightening clothes, whether it's talking to people as they come in, showing them around, whatever. And it's also a benefit to the community. We'll show you a picture later on of one of the stores in the community.
Okay, so you have to look at the clock, you have 3 minutes.
Yep.
So what do you say later on? Do you want to talk about the missionaries or?
Right, just start blasting.
Do we carry over to next week for 15 minutes before
start
their next? So, I mean, we're talking, there's our silliness, more pictures, but what we wanted to really show you, this is the after. The kids were really super excited about it. Playing, not only did we work, we played games with the kids, had fun. This looks like Jesus leading the kids.
Those are all neighborhood
Those are neighborhood kids that wanted to see what was going on. So playing around, having fun, making connections, giving gifts. But this is kind of cute because Ramona wanted Kurt to fix the phone now. She's pointing up to the place to get batteries changed, right?
And she burned through the batteries in the first day.
So after we get through these little pictures, we are just amazed. I guess when we thought about missionaries, we think, oh, these missionaries are people that are just going to go and they all they do is they tell about Jesus, right? So I'm not going to be one of them. I can't do that. Oh my goodness, do these people do so many things? And so that really opened our eyes. The Cray family, both of these, they're brothers. We do donations for them.
They're pastors, and they're probably more what you would think of as, I don't know what you would think of. They're what I would think of when I think of a missionary. I think of somebody like the Crays. You're a pastor, you're going to go down, you're going to start a church, you're going to preach services, you're going to do pastor things. That's what I think of.
So Kurt, I wonder if we can have like 15 or 20 minutes of next week yet. Do you think so? Because there's some stories that have to be told yet. I don't know what they have for a plan, but I don't know what pastors have. But I mean, it is time for us to leave and go to church. So,
We've got time.
No, we don't.
You have to be flexible.
There's kids staring at their families.
I vote for next week.
There you go. We'll see you next week.
How are you?
Yeah, well,